I built a $1.5 million per year AI automation company with 0 followers, and it took me less than a year to get here. Now, if you're looking around you and seeing AI take over everything, and you think that you need to get in on this before the window closes, you are absolutely correct. However, you're probably going about it the wrong way. And I'm saying this because I did the same thing. You see, back when I started, there wasn't all of this information everywhere, and there's still a very little amount of it because this is such a new industry. I spent months testing ad angles that just didn't work, targeting niches with way too much competition, and pricing my services way too low that the amount of work I was doing compared to the value was just not there. So in this video, I want to walk you through the exact frameworks and systems that I use to go from a biochemistry student with absolutely 0 business experience to an agency owner doing multiple 6-figure months and closing clients within weeks. Now, I'm talking about clients where you can charge $5,000 to $10,000 in your early days of building your agency and upwards of 6 figures as you get into enterprise deals. So for those of you who don't know me or maybe have not seen my content before on Instagram, my name is Brody, and believe it or not, I actually used to be a biochemistry student. I finished my biochemistry degree thinking I was going to be a surgeon for a long time, basically just trying to escape because I had no clue what I wanted to do and I wanted to make a lot of money. When I came to the realization that I would spend over 10 years of my life in school, I basically felt extremely trapped and really didn't know what to do with my life. I talked to this man who installed the idea of entrepreneurship into my head, and the idea that I could build a business plagued my mind, and I fell in love with marketing along the way over a course of multiple years throughout my schooling. And if you're wondering how biochemistry and AI automation relate, they don't at all. There's no correlation. I was trying to do school and build a business at the exact same time. Now, what I do realize looking back is that university taught me how to deal with complex systems and think through things logically. However, it did not teach me how to make money at all. Now, the reason I want to tell you this is because I think a lot of you might be in a similar spot right now, whether you're busy in school, you're working a 9 to 5, or you've been just watching the AI space explode for the past few months and have no clue where to start. Now, the reason this is important is because if I can do one of the most difficult degrees and build this business at the same time, you also can. There's no excuses at all. However, I will tell you it does take a sacrifice. I had to get really good at time management. I had to spend a ton of time. I had to utilize the time I wasn't doing school to build this, and it's not easy. Now, lucky for you, you don't have to be a genius and try and figure all of this out on your own because I'm going to give you all of the systems that I used personally so you can just follow the work and grind it out, and then you will be able to do this as well. At the point when I had 0 technical experience at all, I was watching AI just blow up everywhere. I saw how it changed every business operate, and I wanted to get into it, but I had no portfolio, no clients, no reputation, and not really anything going for me. So I spent a very long time figuring this out myself because there wasn't a lot of information out there, and there still really isn't. The first thing I had to do is figure out who I'm selling to. And this is where most people trying to start an AI automation agency mess it up. So when I first started, I tried to go for things like e-commerce brands, marketing agencies, tech startups, and I was super focused on the very flashy AI models. I wanted excitement, but I started to realize that excitement is not what drives revenue, it's automating the boring, repetitive tasks. On paper, I thought these niches would be great because they must already understand the technology and thus understand what I'm selling them. The only issue is I was in this mindset that I was selling them technology and not results. Businesses do not care about the fancy jargon. They care about their ROI. If you cannot deliver systems that bring them more money than what they pay, and save them a ton of time, it doesn't matter how fancy your system is or how long it took you to build. The other issue I found with these niches is there's a lot of other people trying to sell them as well, so their DMs are just flooded with a bunch of nonsense. And when I started, I was trying to DM everyone with cold outreach, and that does not work. There are a multitude of different ways you can actually land clients that are way better than pitching them with DMs, and I'll talk about those later. So now I use this 4-pronged criteria to target niches that you might benefit from as well. This is how it works. First of all, is the industry labor heavy? And this just means if they pay a ton of money to staff, then there are likely a lot of gaps in that business that you can fill to replace that staff and save them time and money. Secondly, is the market fragmented? And this just means there's not a single dominant player. Typically, fragmented markets have a ton of small businesses that all need help with certain things, but nobody's serving them. Third, is there a limited customer base of under 30,000 businesses? This sounds counterintuitive, but this is key. Traditional software companies typically won't build for a market this small, but for us, that means there's not a lot of competition. This is great when you're starting out. And then the fourth thing is, are the business owners already spending a lot of money on other services? I have run into a multitude of businesses that are super cheap with what they spend their money on, and no matter how much ROI or value you can shove down their throats, they're just delusional and they won't see the value. Typically, more intelligent business owners spend on things like marketing, staff, and consultation because it's higher leverage things. Therefore, if you come across these business owners who understand leverage, they will likely buy from you if you can deliver that ROI for them. So those 4 things I use starting out to look for good niches. There are no perfect niches. There are always things you can automate. There are certainly bad niches, but I've always found it's less about the niche and more about what the business is doing, if they have gaps, and if they're able to see the ROI. But once you find your niche, you want to stick with that for a while. Just specialize in it. Don't try and spread out and make a bunch of money and say yes to everyone. Specialize in one thing and then expand. And reiterating on what I said earlier, do not sell them technology, sell them money or time, or both. Doesn't matter how much of a genius they see you as. The question they have in their head is, does this save or make me money? Or does this give me more time? And time is huge leverage to business owners. So what I started doing is selling outcomes. That was my main focus. So instead of selling them an AI receptionist that uses natural language processing and does X, Y, and Z, I position it around the problem it solves, which is that businesses are paying somebody $4,000 a month to sit there and answer the phone when most of the phones go to voicemail because they can only answer one at a time. If they pay $997 a month for a near perfect, near trained system that can answer a multitude of calls at the same time and book them into your CRM, handle things like SMS reminders, all for you, that is more valuable. It's a quarter of the cost. It's pretty easy for you to set it up once you've actually built it out, and it's a no-brainer for them. If you can sell 10 of those, you're doing pretty good for yourself. And it's a lot easier than you think to sell these. Now, the difference that made me go from selling them from $997 a month to $15,000 upfront and about $2,500 a month is how I position the offer. A big part of this is your branding as well. You're packaging it very differently than just selling it as a one-off thing as a freelancer. Learning how to package my offer is one of the things that took me the longest to figure out. I tested a variety of different angles to figure out exactly what closes, and I finally came up with the exact offer that I use today. I don't have time to break down the entire offer today, but if you do want to see this, I have it completely broken down inside my Exosoft Mastery community. There are currently over 700 members in here building every single day. The community is designed as an education and licensing model to deliver you extremely high value automations every single month with full explainer tutorial videos. This negates the need for a developer, meaning you can jump into that growth stage without having to pay a ton of money to developers and do it all yourself. On top of this, there are a variety of different training modules that give you all of the things like our exact offer, all of our business documents, training modules on how to run ads, $4 million in software discounts inside of here as well, 3 live office hour sessions every week, 1 for development and debugging, 1 for sales, and 1 for marketing. I'll drop a link in the description. I figured I'd plug this here because it's helped a variety of different users. As you can see right here as well, there's not a single review on my Trustpilot that's under 5 stars. This has helped hundreds of different agency owners scale their automation company. I figured I'd shamelessly plug this, so if you want to check it out, there's a link in the description. You can go see if that's for you, but let's move on. Now, before I move on, there is one thing I do want to mention about the offer design that I always follow. There are 4 things that you should look at. First of all, you need to define what is their dream outcome or pain point. This has to be extremely deep and emotional, not just a surface level, I want to make more money. Get deep. What happens if they don't make more money? What does that problem lead to? And so on. And then you can go on their dream outcome as well. You can press on their pain points, highlight their dream outcome. This is going to be your core focal point. Secondly, how fast can you achieve them results? Third, how effortless can you receive them results? They don't want to put effort in. And the fourth thing is, how likely is it going to happen that they do get results? So in the ideal world, if you can get them as close to that dream outcome as possible and press on pain points to make that seem like a real thing that they need, you can do it extremely fast, it's effortless for them, and it's very likely to happen. They will buy from you, without a doubt. I think speed is one of the biggest things here. You want to deliver this as soon as possible. Making the process effortless for them is also pretty easy for you. You just have to do a simple onboarding with them and then do everything else for them. And then how likely they see that outcome to happen is all based on your testimonials. This is not something you'll start with, so you have to leverage these other 3 things. And then once you have testimonials, you can leverage those as well. So with that in mind, for a strong offer, you also have to find a way to get in front of these people's faces. How do you get clients? I did a survey on this actually, and most of the agency owners I found thought that this was sending hundreds of cold DMs and cold emails. Now, I'm not gonna pretend like that doesn't work because I've seen a lot of people succeed with these methods. The thing is, it just takes a very long time. You have to be doing these in extreme mass amounts, and especially with Instagram DMs, I never think you should go for the blow immediately. Always make friends. I call this the making friends method on Instagram. You just reach out to somebody, comment on all their posts, and it should be a month-long process of chatting with them and getting to know them before you ever think about closing them. I can absolutely promise you, no matter how good your offer looks, how smart you look, if they do not trust you, they will not buy from you. It's very rare. And same thing with cold emails, you have to do a huge amount of them. I built automations that do hundreds and thousands of personalized emails on Autopilot, and that can work. It just takes time. If If you want that automation, it's actually in my community, so link in the description. Now, the thing with these methods as well is it's not a high leverage task. You're trading a ton of hours for their attention. The amount of time you'd spend finally closing someone on DMs, I don't even think it's worth it. I didn't even do this. And when you stop messaging people, your pipeline completely dries up. So how did I, going from absolutely zero AI automation knowledge, no technical knowledge, go to doing $100,000 months shortly after launching my business? Here is how. I had a 3-page funnel set up. One page is a landing page that speaks directly to the niche I'm targeting. This presses on all of their pain points they're experiencing, and not just surface level, like deeply pressing on their pains. Layers deeper than just they are not making money or they're wasting time. Page 2 is a short video presentation that positions my offer as the solution and handles all of their objections before we even hop on a call. And then page 3 is a booking page where they schedule their call with me. There's something called the Eugene Schwartz framework. It's the idea that as you advertise to more people over time, and the larger that group becomes, they become less and less problem aware. And when you start advertising to a small specific group, they're very problem aware. This is why people often can run winning ads with smaller, more targeted groups. And then as they get bigger, it's harder to profit. With AI, this is flipped because people aren't problem aware yet. They don't really understand what kind of solutions exist. So this is what page 1 is for. It's creating that problem awareness and building that on an emotional level that really presses on their pains and highlights their dream outcome and shows them that this is possible. And the key is it has to be hyper specific, super specific to their niche. It can't be super broad. They need to feel like you understand their problem more than they understand their problem, because if they think that, they will almost always buy from you. The second page is the VSL. This is where you come up with your offer. I already explained the 4 things to making a good offer. There are a variety of different things you can add onto your offer to make it even stronger. Things like guarantees. If they don't hit X ROI in Y days, then they get their money back and so on. You'll have your CTAs here, and you want your CTA to be extremely easy to follow along. In this case, it's just a call booking page, so it's pretty easy. But your VSL is where you explain everything. Now, I'm not gonna get deep into crafting a VSL, but if you guys want another video on that, I can absolutely show you how I structured mine. I've made a ton of different VSLs before. I know exactly what I'm doing with VSLs. Back in my marketing days, I scripted a lot of VSLs for clients and generated millions of dollars for them. I've used them for myself, generated tons of money. The VSL is the key. If you want a video on it, let me know. And then finally, page 3 is the booking page. And for the booking page, make sure you have qualifications. You don't want people watching this and unqualified leads hopping on. You need to ask them a series of questions. Make sure you capture their data. So you want to make sure that they put in their phone numbers, email, name, how much revenue they're currently doing, a full breakdown of their business. And then I also added something as well, like just so you know, if you don't attend this call or you're a no-show, we can ban you from future calls. This just reduces no-shows. You can also make a checkbox as well, like I understand that this might cost upwards of 5 figures. I am comfortable investing this much or something like that. But this is just how you qualify clients and be prepared for the call so you're not coming in blind. This helped us reduce no-shows, filter people so they're only willing to pay a lot of money, and understand their business before we get on the call so we can tailor it towards them. Now, the key for the first call is this is not you trying to sell them. This is an AI audit. We now sell audits for upwards of 5 figures. But back when I was starting, I did audits for completely free. That was my value proposition. That was part of my offer and my CTA in my ads. This is how we got their foot in the door. We basically convinced them, like, we're gonna audit your entire business for free to see how it uses AI. You can do what you want with that, go your own direction, but we'll give you a full breakdown. We'd basically have a note taker on the call. The first call is always an audit. We ask them a variety of questions. We're not even trying to sell them. We're just showing them that we care about their business and we're willing to give them as much goodwill as possible. And then typically what will happen is we'll come up with a proposal after, we'll jump on another call, and almost always they buy from you because they trust you. They've already shown you on the qualification that they're willing to spend money, and you get the point. And how all of this worked is I ran paid ads to it. Paid ads is the key. And within 7 days, I had tons of calls on my calendar, no followers, no posting content, none of this cold outreach nonsense, or spending 6 months to make organic content. This worked incredibly well. Now, I know that you might have the thought in your head, I don't have money for ads. And ads is one of those things that is misconceived as something that requires money. Now, if you hit a ROAS, which is your return on ad spend, of over 1, that means that you've basically broken even. So for every dollar you put in, you're gonna get $1 back. So you're not losing money. You wanna aim for a ROAS of at least 2.5. This means every dollar you put in, you'll get 2.5 back. And the more money you put into ads and the more ads you run, you're going to get more data on how close you are to that true ROAS value. So if I spend $100 a day for 1 month and I get a ROAS of 3, I've gotten close to guaranteeing myself that for every $100 I put in, I'm gonna get 300 back. This is so powerful. Because if you can find an ad that wins, you can just dump money in and it'll keep winning as long as you can fulfill. And once I reached the point where I had one ad that was doing about 10 ROAS, because like you can have such high value automations, I basically had that belief broken that ads were super expensive, and it just became a money machine. Now, once again, winning profitable ads is a whole new thing, but lucky for you, in the description, I included a full ads and organic content training module. This is about a 1-hour live presentation of me going over how to run winning ads, how to make good organic content, and some of the frameworks that I use to build a profitable AI automation agency. If you go watch that as well, that video comes with a variety of different automations, templates, hook frameworks, and so on. So the link in the description will be for that if you want to go check that out as well. It's completely free. And then if you remember from earlier, back when I was starting to run ads, I was running them into those niches that have barely any competition. So the business owners are pretty much only seeing my ads. I also talked about that Eugene Schwartz framework where a lot of these business owners aren't actually going to be super problem aware at the beginning. The ad has to make them problem aware. So that is one thing to note as well. I talk about all of this in that training video, so make sure you go watch that for free. Now you can also utilize AI to help you run winning ads. For example, I've built automations that spy on competitor ads and will give you briefings on what ads are working in your niche. I also have systems that scrape prospect data, personalize outreach at scale, and follow up with them completely automatically with hyper-personalized emails. It's a full acquisition engine that runs without me ever touching it. It's always doing email outreach and pulling people's data from LinkedIn. That automation is also in the Exosoft Mastery community. The link will be in the description. And that competitor ad analysis as well is also there as well. So you might want to check that out. So now we've covered the foundations. We know how to pick the niche, how to position our offer towards them, what we're selling, how to get clients, and how to sell them. Now, one thing that all of these gurus are never going to talk to you about is actual fulfillment. In my opinion, this is the most important thing. Reputation is everything, and if you cannot fulfill and you don't have a good product, you are going to lose. Over time, it's not sustainable, your business will go downhill, and it's not worth the quick cash that you might make from this, trust me. To be honest with you, from my experience, making $100K a month from the top of funnel stuff is super easy. Getting the clients is easy, especially with the current landscape of AI right now. Selling them is easy. Convincing them you'll make money for them is easy. All of that stuff isn't that hard. Fulfillment is the thing that I believe matters the most, so let's talk about this a little bit. I think fulfillment scares the most people away with this business model because they're thinking about it in the wrong way. When most people think of fulfillment, they think of themselves building and creating all of these systems from scratch, developing it all themselves, trying to learn it all at the same time, and not having the technical experience. This is what I think stops most people from getting into AI because they have this belief in their head that they need to be super technical to leverage AI. I was not a technical person. I understand AI now, but back when I started, I didn't know how the hell it worked. I had the basic understanding, knowing how to talk about it so I didn't sound like an idiot on a call, but I just had developers. At the beginning, I struggled with is the fact that I had to pay money to developers, so I was taking that risk. My goal now is to help people get into AI without needing developers. Let me explain. What I found early on is that this AI automation business model can be completely productized, meaning that you can use the same acquisition process, the same ads, the same AI agents, same onboarding process, same follow-up sequences, and so on, per every client. Especially when you're starting, you'll specialize in one automation system, and then if you don't know how to do it yourself, you'll basically have a developer just go onboard that client and set them up with that automation so it's running for them. The business details might change, but the actual infrastructure stays the same. I got to this point where now it was taking me less than a day to actually get these all set up for clients, and with the high ROAS on our ads, we were just shoveling in clients. And at this point, I had the leverage to basically pay a variety of different developers to do custom builds. This allowed us to get into enterprise deals because we had leverage, and leverage is what you should be aiming for. At the start, you're not gonna have it, that's just life, but give it a month or so. Once you've done all of this stuff and actually got clients and made a ton of money, then you can start paying people. Then it will exponentially grow. Some of these examples are AI receptionists that can actually do cold outbound and handle all of your inbound, booking appointments for you on your calendar and doing SMS reminders. Lead generation systems that scrape prospects, profile them, and build completely hyper-personalized emails for them. It will also do all of the outreach for you. Automated follow-up sequences in your emails that nurture new leads. And every single one of these I built, we built once and deployed it a multitude of times. This is what allowed us to scale with barely any team at the start. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. I'm using the same exact systems for every single client with minor tweaks to fit their software stack. We are simply running a system. It's not complex. Once you have it set up, it works. You run ads, you find a winning ad, you keep that going, you put more money into it. All of the onboarding is set up. You have sales representatives and so on. You'll get to this point eventually. Now, I typically don't like sharing numbers, but I do think this matters because it shows you the proof and that I'm not just getting lucky. Before I actually launched the agency, I spent a couple months learning some of these systems. I still was not an expert by any means. And in the first month, we did 7,500 in sales, nothing crazy, small amount of clients, and not a lot of money for these systems. but this got me the testimonials. At this point, I had proof the system worked. I started running ads. We did 124K in revenue with the exact same system, minor tweaks to the funnel, and minor tweaks to the offer. I essentially just turned up the ads because we already had the proof that the ads were working and just let it do its thing. As we tweaked the offer and the different ad sets we were using, we just started to increase our ROAS, and it gave us the data we needed to run the winning ads. The reason that jump was so fast is because I wasn't relying on organic growth. I wasn't spending manual time reaching out to a bunch of people over email or DMs. We just took the risk, we knew money was required, and just did it, and it worked. And today, the agency with just end-to-end automations is doing over 150 grand every single month in recurring revenue, and we keep delivering results for these clients every month, so they will keep paying. This is the difference between freelance and an actual business. You will start as a freelancer, you will get the experience, but it's very important to think about longevity and not getting trapped as a developer and positioning yourself to look at the future for how you can become an actual agency owner. Millions of businesses all around the world have either not heard about AI yet or not adopted it, which gives you a huge amount of room to get into this. Do it now. If this is something that you're considering, I highly recommend doing it. Don't overthink it, just do it, put the work in. But there is a window, so don't procrastinate it. If this is something that you've been thinking about for a long time, trust me, it's worth it. This has changed my life, allows me to live my dream life. For those of you who are new and want the assistance, the reason I built the Exosoft Mastery was to shortcut that initial phase and give you the automations that we've already sold for high values and show you how to set them up with absolutely zero technical knowledge. And as I previously mentioned, that has all the business documents and contracts and templates and pricing guides, pitch PDFs you'll ever need. We have ads modules on how to run winning ads, operations series videos on how to run the business. My exact offer is in there as well. You get all the software discounts you ever need. So you'll basically pay it off by just using those software discounts regardless. And if you're a serious business owner as well, there is a tier that has access to our CRM powered by Go High Level. This allows you to store all of your leads, do your email and SMS campaigns, marketing campaigns, build websites and landing pages, and pretty much everything to run your business. I built it because I wanted to help people shortcut that initial phase, getting into that growth phase with leverage and not having to spend a ton of time trying to learn end-to-end and build all these automations themselves. And because of this, we've had people like Richard here close his first $5,000 client in one single week. On Trustpilot, we only have 5-star reviews. It has helped so many agency owners get capital fast. It's something you want to check out. You can go to wap.com/exosoft or hit that link in the description. I really hope it helps you. You can chat with me inside there, hop in the office hours, ask questions to the team, and we'll hopefully see you there. So this is a general overview of kind of how I operate. If you want deeper dives, I'm very happy to build more videos like these, but hopefully this helps somewhat, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.